What up? What up? What up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Another Monday morning. Happy Monday to everybody. What's up? It is see me rocking by myself. It's all good. Listen. And to all those that are all those that are listening right now. This is the beginning of a podcast series as well. So all of you listen by audio, appreciate you. You are witnessing a live broadcast that we do every week, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I appreciate you listening. Make sure you share and review in the podcasting world. So welcome to the Brothers of Legacy podcast live edition. Good morning. Blessings, Lisa. Great morning to you. Thank you for coming in. As always, sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. We are here to talk about a multitude of things. As you can see, what we're talking about today spans pretty large. So we're going to have an awesome conversation. Some of my brothers are running a little bit late. Terry won't be with us today. Please don't leave. Hang out with us. Mama McCory, thank you for rocking with us. And listen, also, we don't take you guys for granted. We appreciate you rocking. Any of my replay viewers that come through after the broadcast, I appreciate you as well. If it's your first time in the building, make sure you comment. If you've never commented, and if you're sitting in the background, because I know someone that's sitting back there right now, Tyra in the building, great morning to you. Greetings, greetings, greetings. We're going to kick this thing off, uno momento, and then we're going to get into our topic. All right, hang tight, hold on, let's get into it.
I didn't want to catch that. Morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another edition. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
All right, welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Like I said, always sharing is caring. Sharing is caring, and those that are listening, you are listening to the Brothers of Legacy podcast, and I definitely appreciate you today. Give me one moment. I was just trying to share on Facebook. Oh, Pastor McCory in the building. Great morning to you, sir.
Bless you.
Bless you, bless you, bless you.
Good morning,
So,
family.
Sometimes throughout the weekend, I try to come up with some topics or come up with what we're going to talk about during the week. And I had a struggle. I was on a struggle bus for a minute until I listened to this podcast as Planet Money, and they talk about various things that affect the economy, things of that nature. And he spoke about universal health care, and basically talked about Canada and how it had the guy on that pretty much was part of the PR firm that worked for all the healthcare industry in the United States, designed to push any propaganda, any lie about Canada's healthcare system in order that no one really wants the universal healthcare, pretty much. You know, every little small nook and cranny that's wrong with the Canadian system, they tried to highlight, you know, and then, and in his words, twisted some of the statistics to fit their narrative.
Right.
And it began to make me think about some of the things that we are seeking for, and though reparations, as you can see, is down there. Of course, that would be something designated directly to, you know, what people like to say, ADOS, you know, African descendants of slavery, as well as, you know, universal basic income and healthcare, you know, covers everybody. So that's something everybody can take part of. And if you haven't heard of universal basic income, Andrew Yang, he didn't create it or start it, but he kind of brought it back kind of to light when he started running for president. And it's pretty interesting. If you ever watch any of his interviews, he broke down the finances and how it could work. Because a lot of times, oh, okay. First, they will be speaking at the conference. Awesome. Good morning, Cheryl. Good morning. So we're talking about, so today, this morning, so during the weekend, I was like, okay, so maybe we can start talking about some of the things we would like on an agenda. I mean, reparations kind of is so broad because it's like exactly how would reparations work, or what equivalent of compensation are we seeking? I think one. So this morning I had a gentleman. His name is Jay Hamilton. He goes by Jay Hamilton on Facebook, and he wrote this extensive list of things. He said, I'm gonna put together a list of agenda, things we should kind of start talking about, and maybe then we come to the consensus of what we're going to work for, and then the action part, what exactly we need to change.
Okay.
And it's interesting, and I sent it in the group. It's kind of long, and it is funny. He repeats reparations quite a few times in there, but one of them things he mentioned was what was it? Well, the government supported. Well, this is okay. So this right here will be more on the reparation side. He said the government supported reconstruction of Black genealogy so folks can trace their family trees, something like that. So they'll know, so we can kind of have a history of where we came from as much as possible. Because nothing's ever perfect, but at least if I know my region, know what area I came from, I can feel like I'm connected to a family, connected to somewhere other than my history starting in slavery, starting after slavery in that point. Another idea was not paying taxes. He said for 10 years, I say no federal tax, kind of like some of the Indian tribes. Maybe paying state, but not federal, because that's who we are seeking any change from. And I'm talking a lot, but jump in at any time, Pastor, if you feel.
No, I'm just listening. We can build lists. It's tough for me, man, because I'm still of the mindset, if you just allow me at the table, let me disqualify myself. Don't disqualify me up front.
Right.
Given a level playing field, I don't need a leg up.
Okay.
I don't need any help. I don't need to go back and, to me, reparations, and people will disagree with me, reparations is like harboring unforgiveness.
Okay.
To me.
I got you.
Because I want some get back.
Right. I feel you.
I want, you know what I'm saying? And I don't need that. I mean, the reality is if I'm taught, if I'm trained through scripture, through the Lord to leave the past in the past,
right, then
let's just do that and level the playing field and move forward. And because to me, reparations is putting your hand to the plow, looking back, and we can build these exhaustive lists, but by the time you get finished reading everything on that list, help me understand at what point do I start working?
Right. Like, what do we start working on?
If I look at that list, you basically giving me what Donald Trump got.
The platinum plan. I mean,
no, not the platinum plan. I'm talking about Donald Trump launching into life with the $1 million loan.
Oh, gotcha.
And look what became of him. Look what it made him.
Right.
You understand? There's a problem when you don't have to work for your success.
Got you.
So I'm saying level the playing field. Let me put in work. Don't disqualify me before I even get to the table, and let's see what happens.
Okay.
I don't need any favors because I have the Lord.
Right.
Right.
It's like trying to get child support from your father you never met after you're 30. But get my money.
Yeah. It's like we put all this energy into trying to get some get back, and you're losing today fighting for yesterday.
And
I got you. I feel you.
I mean, I was listening. I agree with Pastor about 80% of it. And it ain't even that I disagree with him. It's just there's a part of me personally that it's like, I don't need that. But then again, there's the realistic side of that too. Who's going to pay for it?
Oh, we got the money. I when it comes to, I don't know. Like, I mean, I hear you on your point, Pastor. like, but that whole money thing, yeah. In your words, you can miss me with that. They can find money for everything.
Not just because they can find it, and just because, but somebody's got to pay it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, because you got to remember, the U.S. government, the only way it makes money is everybody that we're seeing right now, everybody that we talk to, bump into. Now, granted, there's a large portion of that, but you got to understand how certain things work. And when you really understand it, it's like, okay, that's gonna cause more hurt than help. Because if every one of us get the things that are on that list,
Right.
what's gonna happen to the country you live in? We're gonna be like Greece. We're gonna be like Greece. And Greece didn't have this problem with reparations and everything else and unfair treatment of the vast majority of her citizens. What Greece had was a great idea. Greece had the idea that, look, we're gonna give the best health care to every single citizen born. And I think that that's admirable. But part of that issue rolls into Greece slightly was different than America. Greece didn't have the big pharmaceutical companies that we have, because the medical care isn't what we're paying for in many cases. It's the medicine. Like Bella got her, she was running through the house the day before her birthday, August 16th, and bam, she hit a furniture. She hit a lamp stand, and she got stitches.
Right.
Now it's Corona season, so it's me and my baby with nobody near me. Stay away. I'm at the hospital. Don't want to be here, but I gotta be here.
Right.
All they did was give her, since she was a child, they gave her some lidocaine on a cotton swab and put a Band-Aid over it to neutralize, to numb the area.
Right.
Then they came in and they gave her stitches. Well, that cost me $2,500. Now that's ludicrous. It shouldn't cost that much. But here's the thing: when you say free healthcare, that's 300 million people you got healthcare for. That's 300 million people that now got to be paying. Now you got about 10% of the people who that's not even an issue whatsoever. Everybody else in the middle of that, it's going to get real expensive on medical care alone. So you take 300 million people by, say, $10,000 each. $10,000. It costs $3 trillion for the government to pay, what, $1,200? And not everybody even got that little $1,200 from the stimulus, right? That costs $3 trillion. So imagine what happens when you make 10,000, 20. Now, some of those things on that list are absolutely things that I think need to be impacted. The education side of the things, I 100% agree with it. Because the way our education system is set up right now, it's setting us up to be factory workers and to work in the industry.
Right.
So the art side of things that are left off,
Right.
we don't get that. So yeah, bring those things back. Fund those things in schools. When it comes to the taxes, I think we need to be able to have a say in what our taxes go towards. If you take the city of Atlanta, it's a large percentage black. The city of Birmingham, a large percentage is black. The vast majority in both those cities are black. So I do think that you need to focus on the education in those places. I think you need to focus on the arts in those places. I think you need to focus back in those programs, that some of the programs we had growing up that teaches trades and things of that nature. But there's so many other wrinkles. Like when it comes to reparations, I agree to an extent, but then you got to break it down. Not every black person in America can trace their lineage back to slavery.
Right. I mean, that's a fact. That's a fact. And then it'll be those that that you can trace. I mean, it'll for reparations in itself. That'll be one of those things and one of those arguments. As far as healthcare, I mean, I know the money will be staggering, but if I believe that when there's one system that replaces, that could replace another system. But my main thing is, so what if? Okay, so we see reparations. Y'all know about universal basic income, right? The $1,000, and this is not a reparations thing. You know about? You've heard of the UBI?
I've heard of it, but I haven't read into it.
It's pretty much the way Andrew Yang broke it down. The way he was trying to sell it was is kind of like a dividend check on the prosperity of the United States. And every American citizen would get $1,000 a month.
So profit sharing for the U.S.
Basically. And so what will be eliminated would be all of the social service programs, all of the welfare programs and things of that nature. I even thought about getting rid of, you might possibly could even get rid of the Social Security program.
But that's busted already.
For what? In exchange for
$1,000 a month for a lifetime.
I don't even. I partially agree with you only because I've lived in a state that had something similar. But this is how it works. Like when I lived in Alaska, Alaska has a system similar to that. Now, here's where it goes in. In Alaska, you can own whatever you can own whatever you want to own in Alaska, right?
Right.
But you can't own mineral rights. The state of Alaska owns mineral rights for the entire state. So let's say AD lives on 500 acres and you find oil on your 500 acres.
Right. I can't claim
all you own is 10 inches below the soil.
Gotcha.
And then you have to get permits for pools and things of that nature. But after those 10 inches, it belongs to the state. So what the state does is they sell that oil.
Right.
And whatever profit that oil makes in 5 years, they take that profit and they equally divide it between everybody that's been in the state and is a state citizen for a full calendar year. Right. Once you become a citizen for a full calendar year, at the beginning of the following fiscal year, which is, so after this December, if this is the end of your calendar year, the following October, every person in your household is eligible for a dividends check.
Right.
And so whatever the profit was, they take that and split it. So some years it's $1,200. Right. Some years it's $3,800.
Right.
And in Alaska, it works great, and it's one of the incentives for living in Alaska.
Right.
So if you do something along those lines, I can dig that. But outside of that, what you start to do is you start to take away creativity from individuals.
I don't agree.
How are you going to get that money?
As far as
see, Alaska has a plan for that money. It's because you don't own mineral rights.
I got you.
Well, so but I'm saying Alaska is rich in those resources.
I got you.
So that works for Alaska. So what do you get if you live in Illinois?
Right, but if we get rid of the social service program, which topples like $1 trillion, 1.1 trillion.
Well, we're not even the biggest benefactor from that.
Right, and also keep in mind that the social services project, the whole program, is funded by tax dollars.
Okay.
Right. So we're paying for that.
Right. But
so what you're saying is we're no longer paying for that, but the government is going to give everybody something.
Right.
Right. So where does that money come from? Where does that money come from? I'm saying to you, you're saying that instead of, because remember, everything that we give out is funded by us.
Right.
Right. So if you take away the funding of it, how can anybody benefit from it? Because it's not like, if we don't pay taxes, where does the money come from for the government?
I got you.
Right.
I got you.
The money has to come from somewhere.
Right.
Right. And America's not leading the charge in manufacturing globally.
No, not any longer.
We've got fewer products. So I'm saying the wealth of America is based on what?
Capitalism and taxes.
Right. One of the biggest tricks that America has played is the inflation of the U.S. dollar.
Right.
Because we don't make anything.
Right.
Wall Street is Las Vegas.
Right.
All right. And so you've got this perceived value.
Okay.
For the company for the country that is the most indebted of all the world.
Okay.
You understand? So
I'm hearing you.
So help me. So you opened up the profit sharing, the idea, the concept of profit sharing.
If we're taking so if we're taking the same dollar and just applying it a different way, wouldn't that be like?
But here's my point. If you own a business and your business is publicly traded.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
But you have not turned a profit in 3 quarters. The value of your business goes down. Am I right?
Right.
If you're not making a profit for all those shareholders, there's nothing to give out. Am I right? There's nothing to give out. So if America is trillions of dollars in debt, how can you be a profit sharing organization if you have no profit?
I got you.
And we're already there.
I got you. I got what you're saying.
Right.
I got what you're saying.
I mean, because what happens if China calls in the loan?
Right. Right.
What do we say? I dare you to try to come and collect.
Right.
You understand? We're indebted. Monaco. We're indebted trillions of dollars. So there's to me, in my mind, I cannot process the concept of profit sharing for a country that is in debt.
I got you.
There's no profit. So now the question is, how does the US dollar have value if we're not a profit bearing country?
Right.
And this is why Russia, this is why, well, not Russia, but the former USSR, prior to, it's a great idea, but you got to be able to fund that idea. And just think about it. It's a capitalistic society. So most of America wealth is from individuals who came up with some great idea, whether they stole it or they came up with it themselves to make money. McDonald's, like if you want to make a minimum wage, if you want to increase minimum wage, here's the pros and cons of that. The cons is if you increase the wages, you're decreasing somebody's profit, and when you decrease their profit, but I got to pay these people more. Why I got these people working for me? I think this is part of the reason why we have some of these cashier-less, what you call it, at the grocery store.
Right.
You go through the scanner.
You introduce robotic technology because
you ain't got to pay a person.
It's a capital outlay, right? In most organizations, most businesses, you're either CapEx driven or OpEx driven. It's capital outlay or an operational cost. Right. CapEx means I pay one time.
Right.
And then I take the value and whatever I pay annually is just maintenance.
Right.
Right. So if I buy equipment to do the job, then I just have to pay to maintain the equipment, upgrade the software, whatever the case might be. That's far less than the operational cost of a human being who not only do I have to pay monthly, annually, but in most cases, I have to provide, Social Security, disability, insurance, all these other things, the benefits package. So what you're learning is if I go buy, $1 million worth of equipment, as opposed to employing, 250, 300 employees, the cost of those employees operationally may outweigh the capital expenditure of just buying equipment. It may be a big cost up front, but over time, I've got a better return on my investment, and it's a lot shorter return on my investment because I'm not having to pay that over and over every week or every month or every year.
So I'm glad.
That's why you see, you go to Walmart and you scan your own groceries,
right?
Because that machine is cheaper than the body.
So let me ask you this: so with the growth in technology, right, and those that we know have done certain jobs that are now being taken over by tech, which is steadily becoming more and more, only thing left are really the ones that you got to think and create, and then they're creating computers that can think and create as well. But what do you do? What happens with those that have been doing a certain job for 20, 30 years? I'm just saying, okay, so now they come into the system and, they have to dig into the system in order to survive.
And see, and that's
what I'm saying. Do you understand what I'm saying, Pastor?
No, say that again.
So I have to now, because of this skill set that I've done for 20, 30 years. Let's just say the button sewer. I've gotten nice with it. Like I can sew buttons. I can sew a whole jacket in less than 3 minutes. Of course now they got machines that can do it in less than 30 seconds. But it's now my skill set that I've learned. I became the craftsman of button sewing, which is now obsolete. What do I do now? What do I do at this point? And I'm like 50.
As a person, as an individual,
yes,
you pray. Listen, okay.
I got it. I get that.
I got it. No, I mean, I don't mean to be funny.
No, I know, but go ahead.
My wife and I just had this conversation.
Yes.
My wife is a realtor, and COVID-19 hit, and I didn't want her out there showing houses. I don't want to walk into people's houses, right? So that impacted her ability to earn income. Right. And so now she's got like 8 things going. Right. Because she said, I'll never get caught like that again. Right. I'll never get caught with just having one source of revenue. Right. This was her thought. How can I be an entrepreneur and I'm only doing one thing? Because she's always had aspirations to be an entrepreneur. So now she is an entrepreneur. But she said when COVID hit, I got damaged because I couldn't go show houses. If you're not showing houses, you're not selling houses. Right. So I reminded her of the scripture. The scripture says that the most successful countries in the Old Testament were countries that were next to waterways or countries that had multiple streams of water running through them. Right. You got one waterway. You're a vulnerable country because if we cut off that waterway, I can besiege you and take over. Right. But when you have multiple, I can't get you in multiple ways at one time. Right. You're harder to conquer. And so for us, the objective is to make sure you're multifaceted. Right. You've got to do multiple things. If you are a seamstress and you run out of fabric or you run out of thread, that's it.
I got you. I feel you on that. I mean,
that's why I say you got to pray, because otherwise you're leaning on the government to subsidize or supplement your income, which is why people are mad now. That's why Donald Trump is holding that stimulus hostage. We'll do it after the election.
This is nonsense, but I got you. All right, let me read some of these comments. He said, Cole said, it's funny you say that Dusty Rhodes back in 85 actually cut a wrestling promo in saying, what do you say to a factory worker who worked 30 years, then you give him a watch, kick him in the butt, and say a computer took your place? Oh,
that was Dusty Rhodes.
That's America. But that's America. That's America. And in fact, China's worse. What does China do with their old people? If you can't afford to take care of your parents in China, they just die off.
Right.
When is the last time let me ask you something. My son is special needs.
Right.
Do you see special needs people in third world countries?
Right. No.
You see them, but when you see them, because I've seen several. When you see them,
I'm not talking about the folks that you see dragging themselves on the street.
I'm just
with special needs people.
You don't. In third world countries, they don't have it. People feel sorry for them, but that's the extent of it. Right. And the ones that you see on the corner, they're not old, because as soon as they run into a medical issue, they're gone.
They're gone.
So you see them to an extent, but there's no
special needs in those other countries. That's the reality.
It's rough. And the thing is, what the biggest thing about some of the things on the list that I just can't, because I've seen it happen too many times, not personally, but just historically speaking, you start to give what is our biggest problem right now sometimes with our government? It has too much power.
Right.
Well, what do you think happens when you give the government all of these responsibilities? They even get more power. And then the voice of us and anybody else becomes less and less because you're dependent on me now. So shut up and get your check or get your ration or whatever you want to call it. Some of those things on the list I think are absolutely like education, especially the student loans. I can dig that one because now you're going to hold universities to a standard because whether most people know it or not, public colleges and universities are supposedly nonprofit organizations. The University of Alabama is a nonprofit organization, sir. Roll Tide, right?
The NFL is a non-for-profit.
Right.
But a nonprofit organization that's able to pay somebody $500 million over 10 years. Yeah. Do you see the problem? It's the same reason.
Is a non-for-profit.
It's the same reason that President Trump can pay $750 in taxes.
Right.
Why? And this is what's going to happen. If you think you have to revamp the whole game, and we
can afford it.
And that's why
I'm just saying, if we revamped it and people actually pay what they earned, we changed the tax program.
So let me ask you this question because you're right. You're absolutely right, AD. But let me ask you this question, AD. You're worth $500 million.
Yes, indeed.
Now the government comes in and said, "Hey, we're gonna need $450 million from you in taxes because we got these programs." Are you gonna let 30% of the country that's white take your money? Because that's what it boils down to. I mean, this is the question that nobody. This is what happens. You got the Jay-Z's who is on the low end of being a billionaire.
Right.
You think Jay-Z finna give up $800 million? You think Oprah finna give up $2.2 billion? You think Michael Jordan finna give up $900 million?
Or make it? I mean, or you have your brackets, but you have ways to either donate or contribute into other ways. I mean, I get it with the tax bracket, and I get it that the more you make, the more they want. Because I remember, I think the tax was as high as 62% or some junk after $1 million. I think right before Ronald Reagan, around that time, it was pretty staggering. Like you once you reach wealth status, people really had to find ways to hide money and give money away just so they don't go over that bracket. But I don't know. Like I think about so the people that are disabled, the people that go through that are like Pastor Brian's son, that are in a permanent kind of state. If we had a universal basic income, I mean, I don't know if that would cover, what we're getting. But to me, the equaling out of keeping those that can't have an opportunity, at least to have something until they can, or even if you're home, have an opportunity to innovate, have an opportunity to create. I look at it that way, and I get it that dividend is an ugly word because you're right. We're probably operating in the red. We've probably been operating in the red for a long time. Since Nixon gave away the gold standard, we've probably been operating in the red.
Yeah,
right.
And someone did some creative math, like we can operate in the red and still be prosperous. You're like, what? You're like, how does that even sound right? But obviously they've been making it do what it do for forever. So I think
it's perceived.
Right. Keep the perception up. Once it crumbles, like diamonds. Diamonds don't really have much value, but it's the perceived value of what diamonds are that keeps them valuable. But I don't know. I mean, I believe
it's a difficult. I
believe it's possible, and I know the idea is like you're going to create lazy people. If you're just giving people money, you're going to create lazy people. I've heard that,
and that's the issue. That if I run through that entire list, man.
Not everything.
Wake up.
Not everything. I mean,
seriously,
but, I know
if you put as much effort into making something happen for yourself as somebody put into creating that list,
right?
You understand? We are a bunch of overpriced specialists, right? Do you realize there's more money in the research for the cure for cancer
than there actually is
than the cure
for treating, or for treating?
So you want to know why there's no cure for cancer? because what do you do with all those resources in the search for the cure?
Right. I agree. All those foundations have been around forever. You're right.
Like that like there's other things on the list that like people may not want to agree with it, but like some of them I was like, yeah, that's good, and then some of them I was like, nah, that's just ludicrous. For instance, and I'm gonna say
that we ain't gotta go through it all.
No, I know, but like
he wrote it just as just something to kind of discuss the starting point. So
right, no, like the one that says a government program, I think that to train people for government, a program that trains minorities for government roles. Okay. I'm gonna say one, and people are gonna be like, "Man, you full of it." But look, it's facts. It's called the U.S. military. You want to know how the government work? Go to the military. You'll find out real quick. You'll find out how fast they'll take your paycheck because they made a mistake.
Wow.
And then take 3 months to give you your pay that you ain't get. You'll learn what hurry up and wait means. You'll learn.
You'll also learn about subsidized housing. You'll also learn about food stamps, because in the military, when you have a family, you get separate rations, right? Because you don't eat in the mess hall because you have a family. You get BAQ because you're married and you have a family and you have to pay for rent or whatever the case if you don't live on base. So all of those are subsidies that you get in the military. And so you take that, and there's huge benefits, but the downside is because I'm giving my life up.
Right.
That's the flip side of it. So you have to pick your poison. In America, that's just the reality. You go to other countries and you can get free healthcare, but it's not free because you pay more taxes.
Right. And
your tax rate is higher, and everybody pays a higher rate of taxes, but everybody gets the best healthcare. So the question is, what do you value more, putting the money in the bank or the ability to go get the best healthcare if something goes wrong with you or your loved one? You got to pick it. There's always going to be a choice. You're gonna, whatever you give up, the value of what you receive compared to the value of what you sacrifice is always going to be a factor. It's going to cost something.
I agree. Definitely.
Facts. I like the no interest on the home loan, but you imagine how many banks might close? That's where they make their money.
Right.
Yeah.
On that interest.
Why am I going to get, it's like, I'm going to give you this money and there's no
exactly what I gave
return. Right. You can pay me back $20 a month on $500 for the next 5 years.
I got one for you, Pastor. You got some coins, right? And you know this dude ain't paying nobody, and he smoke crack. You finna loan him $5,000.
No, sir.
Come on, son. He got you.
But here's the thing. Yeah, because it's an evaluation of risk, right? What's at risk? What are the chances that I'm going to get that money back?
I'm getting my universal basic income every month. I got you.
$1,000 ain't gonna do it. Not if you got a $1,500 mortgage.
and because
that's why I drive or I work.
Nah, because think about this. In China, they have population control. You get in trouble when you have more than 2 children.
Right.
There are penalties. You have to pay penalties. There's taxes on having more than 2 children.
There's people that hide their pregnancies and get rid of their child on the street.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a give and take. And so what type of authority do you want? What type of regime do you want to be under? Because the more you get from the government,
that extreme though. When you say
capitalists are afraid, the more you get from the government, the more power the government has.
I dig that. Like I heard Dwayne kind of say that, because I dig it. If I'm getting $1,000, I'm kind of trusting in the government to give me that, and then they can always come up with things and ways and reasons. You need to do this now. You need to do this. Take your whole family down to Arkansas and talk to whoever and do whatever. And then, we'll continue to give you a pay or whatever. You have to renew and do all that good stuff. I dig it. I mean, but this.
How much is enough, Cole? That's right. How much is enough?
I'm just asking for $1,000 in free healthcare. That's it. I'm good.
Yeah, but now you got Corona. And $1,000.
Okay, boom. I can go get checked out.
$1,000 a month.
No, my free healthcare.
The ventilator gonna cost more than $1,000 a month. But if you get corona,
you said what's that?
You go to the hospital for corona, your ventilator bill gonna be more than $1,000.
I know, but if I got healthcare, we got universal healthcare, I don't have to worry about that.
Who's paying for it though?
Who's paying for it?
It's in the bank. You're already paid. Didn't y'all pay 2020 taxes already? What I'm saying, listen, no, I know, and I'm joking, but I'm serious. Like,
no, I do get it, but
okay, so let's think about this. I know you don't like the whole pricing and paying and stuff, and it kind of, and y'all saying, I'm like, you're right. Government has a little bit control, and it gets you used to, when you get used to getting something,
right?
You unfortunately, the first, like, let's just say the first year, it's like a bonus.
Right.
Rolling into the second year becomes part of what I get. Like I get used to it. Some people accumulate more stuff because they get this $1,000. So with that being said, wouldn't you say, like, just go with me, follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't, if we got rid of the social system, right? Wouldn't you feel like it would alleviate the projects? It will get people out of these rough situations.
No, I don't, because it doesn't alleviate drug addiction. It doesn't alleviate gang violence. It doesn't alleviate crime being
okay.
committed.
But wait. Well, let's talk gang violence, right? Most people that get recruited by gangs, right, generally get into gangs to sell drugs because they don't have the money. Can we agree on that? For the most part, no one just joins the gang just to shoot up a neighborhood. They join because they got a family and they make money.
Says who? How you gonna say that nobody joins the gang?
I won't say most.
Yeah, I'm saying, listen. People do things for a lot of different reasons, brother. They do it different. There's a reason why. Do you know why the Ten Commandments were written? Do you know why? Does anyone ever ask the question, why did God even make the Ten Commandments?
Because the folks was out of control, like to set some laws and set things straight, so they have an understanding.
The Ten Commandments weren't written to set some laws. The Ten Commandments was to validate our inability to do right. He just put a name on it.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
Never thought about that.
Right.
Ever.
Think about it.
You're right. I mean,
remember, sin was being committed before the Ten Commandments were written.
I mean, I dig it. I got it.
But it was just never defined.
Right. No doubt.
And sin came in the garden, and sin brought forth death, but sin wasn't defined until Moses.
Right. It was there.
But think about this. I want you to think about it. Between Adam and Moses, sin was being committed.
Okay.
Yeah, Noah.
But there was no definition of sin, but people were dying from something that was undefined.
Okay. I got
God, look, between that, God wiped them all out. He wiped them out. It was so bad.
Right.
It didn't get defined until Moses.
I feel you.
So why were people dying if sin was not defined? The only point I'm trying to make is people are going to do wrong. The Bible says we were born in sin and shaped in iniquity.
But you don't. So you feel like will it have zero effect?
No, it's going to have an effect. But I'm saying the question is, how much do you want to shift the throttle? What are you looking for? What are you trying to measure? How much movement do you expect there to be in the throttle if the government just gives us more money?
A lot.
How much?
Really?
Okay, I got a better question, Pastor.
My expectations are high. What's up?
What happened? Right now we're living in a generation. Where the sense of entitlement is broader than it has ever been.
I know.
And we haven't even done anything.
Right.
We've just been better to our children.
Right.
Hey, Pastor, I got a better question for the same scenario he just mentioned.
All right.
You know any rich drug dealers? Not personally. You ever seen a rich drug dealer?
I mean, yeah.
Is he quitting because he got money now?
Huh?
Is he quitting because he got money now? He got money.
No,
he ain't quitting.
man, I gotta get out of the game.
Yeah, I'm just saying there was no reason to be that. Okay, but there's people that work for him, his corner boys. Why did there'd be no reason for them to be in the game?
Hey, look,
zero reason for them to be in the game.
But they in the game anyway.
I'm just saying that. Oh, the $1,000 ain't started yet. When it started,
how many people you personally know? How many people do you personally know who may be in a gang that you grew up with back in New York? Right?
We had posses.
Okay, posse. They was in the posse, right?
Right.
But you know they came from a good home, and you know they didn't have the need for what they were doing. They had food. It might not be filet mignon,
but they had food.
But they had food. It's a choice, and like everything in life, it's a choice. I look. Here's my thing when it comes to it. To answer your question about the $1,000, the universal health care, here's my question, because taxes supposedly takes care of so many different things.
Right.
What are you going to get rid of?
You said,
because if you don't get rid of
the whole
something,
social service program, and then maybe even SSI.
That's not federal though. That's state.
Okay, that's state. That alleviates their money.
But they don't take as much as the federal.
I'm telling you.
So you put it on the state or the federal?
It's going to be on both. It'll be on both. But the bulk of the money will probably come straight like federal, because they distribute a little quicker.
So
it seems like.
So what are you going to get rid of though?
I would say like
without getting rid of
Social Security, and we would get rid of.
Well, Social Security is already a shot dog. It's going to die in a little bit anyway, because the baby boomers that paid in it, it's like there's 5 times as many people that used to work than they are that's working now. So Social Security already shot. This is why it's conspiracy theory, but this is why I think Corona may have reached the United States partially.
Gotcha.
Because
that's ugly.
I know, but who was hit the hardest? Senior citizens, that baby boomer generation. Now this is money that we ain't ever got to pay again.
Right. I got you. Before you say something, Pastor, listen, anybody in this audience, I got several folks in here, and not everybody commenting. So nobody agree with me. Nobody can come fight with me. Come on my side. I feel like I'm by myself. But I'm just gonna put that out there. But so like I said, so Social Security, right? And I feel it was Corona, because I thought that at one point my conspiracy thing was like, this is crazy. But come on, Mike. Elder McNair. He said, alleviating projects. No, it's like the Otis Williams character in the miniseries Temptations. Said success makes you the person you really are, and many people consider money the ultimate level of success. It's going to make it bigger whatever you currently are. Right? McNair's laughing at me this night, just saying nope. And Cheryl just laughing at me too. You know what? I'm leaving. But I do. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna come up with some more. We're gonna fight on this tomorrow, because I'm gonna have some more. Because Pastor hit me with the money thing, and when I said the dividend and we in the red, I had the shock face, like moving along. So
I think that's a viable. I think that's a viable thing. The only thing you're gonna have to worry about with that, because like I said, I lived in Alaska.
Okay.
And I spent 5 years in Alaska, and that's what they do. Now, the people that would hate it are these oil billionaires.
Right.
Anybody who owns a copper mine, any type of mining.
Oh, taking Alaska.
And use it as an example,
using it for the rest of the United States,
right? And here's where you're gonna have the fight.
Right.
You're gonna have a handful of super wealthy people because of the land that they bought.
Right.
Because of what's in that land.
Right.
You're gonna have, but that way you can create more.
Right.
And you can create money, as opposed to trying to robbing Peter to pay Paul. In this case, you're like, no, this is the United States. Yeah, you can own the land, but beneath the land belongs to the country. And and you have less people to fight with. When you start taking everything else, you got to realize what taxes go into. It goes into schools. It goes into roads. It goes in to Social Security. It goes into so many things, and things that we don't even think about. And then this is why you have to read some of these bills that they're putting on the floor, because a lot of these bills have 200 pages worth of what we're going to do. Right. And on page 199 at the top of it, which very few people read, there's like, oh yeah, we're going to take $5 million of tax money and give it a fruit fly research for this vaccine. And this is where we get messed up at a lot of times.
Now you want the fruit fly business,
right? So where you're starting at, AD, is
right.
absolutely admirable, and I agree with you, and I understand. But
Right.
this is just becoming AAR. No, we can't use that because of this, and this. Okay, you're right. How can we do it? So that one I think is sustainable. I think the George Bushes of the world would hate you because all that oil money is no longer theirs.
Right.
But now you got the people of Texas at a minimum that you like. You know what? Life ain't so bad.
Right.
And
Yeah, but again, you're only dealing with Texas.
Right.
There you
So
go.
what happens? What happens to the people in Arkansas who say Texas got it good? Then everybody begins to migrate to Texas, and then my piece of the pie gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So what happens? You have to close the doors on Texas, or you start to have to get creative and find the reasons why you're not qualified to live in Texas. Isn't that what America looks like right now with Donald Trump closing borders?
Well, can you close the state border?
Probably.
I don't know if I don't.
No, listen to my point.
No,
How close any border anywhere on the globe, on the planet, but people have created ways to do it. What I'm saying is people will start getting creative and figure out ways to do it. And then you have conflict.
Well, Alaska creates ways, right? Because like for 2 years, I received the dividend in Alaska. And then one year they got me.
What is the ratio? What is the ratio of women to men in Alaska?
Ooh.
I don't know. But from me being out and about,
because you were in a bubble in Alaska.
It's more women. I know there are more women. Well, at least there were more women in the club. So that's all I can tell you at that time. But the thing was, in Alaska, one of the things that got me
to every 100 women, 108. There's more men.
More men. So
men outnumber women in Alaska. So that means Alaska is not attractive.
Right. I feel you.
It depends, because you got there's a lot of Alaska that ain't connected to nothing. Like you got to get in a plane to go get to.
Alaska is attractive to women because men outnumber women.
I see what you're saying.
Okay. So as a man, I'm not trying to go to Alaska. I mean, I'm married. I love my wife. But the thing is, growing up, evolving as a man, Alaska is not attractive. So it's no strange thing to me that Alaska would have incentives.
See, look, this is one of those things where the numbers are skewed. Because when I went to the club, I was satisfied.
All right. Oh, Cole Johnson asked the question. He said, AD believing in Priest, Youngblood. Oh, he said one more score and I'm out of the game. Man, that money too good for those drug dealers. Yeah, man, it could change. Shut your face.
Yeah, because in order to get that score, he had to get on a plane.
Right.
Yeah, but
to answer your question, don't pass it. Like some of the things that they do, I like fishing. Right. So I did something stupid that I didn't know, and this is one of those ways that you're talking about, Pastor. So one of the requirements for Alaska to do what they have, you can only have an Alaska driver's license. So if you're in the military, that means you don't change your license when you go to another state, or they coming after that money. I went and got a fishing license in Florida because that's where my ex-wife was from. Mm-hmm. Her daddy was like, "Hey, Wayne, let's go fishing. I know a great spot to go get some catfish." I'm like, "Yes, sir. I got to get me a fishing license." I was like, "How much?" He was like, $30. That $30 costed me $2,800. You hear me? Because it was part of the program. Oh. This is the dividend, but you are an Alaska citizen. You can only have an Alaska driver's license. You can only have an Alaska hunting license. You can only have an Alaska fishing license. You have to come back and visit Alaska for 3 calendar days consecutively every year.
So you just stuck in the States. I'm just saying. You can't don't leave with your shenanigans. You give up your citizenship. You give up your check.
I drove to Alaska. You know how long it took me to drive to Alaska?
How long?
From Arizona, it took me 5 days to drive to Alaska.
Wow.
So, I mean, you can pay a plane ticket too, or you can get on the ferry. As soon as you get on the ferry and it goes underway, you're technically in Alaska. So a lot of people will get on the ferry and go to Ketchikan and come back.
I got to jump on the
All right. Have a good one.
Sir.
We're about to get out of here.
I think we need to continue this a couple days.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be good because I'm gonna dig in because Andrew Yang makes some great points. I'm gonna write them down, and we're gonna argue about this tomorrow. But this is.
I'm gonna do some study notes and send them to you.
All right,
because there's some of them on there that I really do like.
Okay,
and I think that are feasible.
Awesome.
Today, the ones that I was like, I don't know how that's gonna work. Those are the ones that came out.
Gotcha. All right, so we appreciate you guys rocking with us. My podcasters, my people listening to us. This is our first podcast, so we appreciate you rocking. Make sure you share. If you want to check us out live, we're on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope the Brothers of Legacy. So everybody watching, we appreciate you guys rocking with us and always coming in every single morning. You could have been anywhere, but you're rocking with us. We are having conversations that going to change the world.
Yes,
we are. And we want you guys to be a part of it. So make sure you comment, make sure you share, tag somebody that you like, you know what, they need to be in this conversation so they can see this conversation, because this is kind of be the conversation that we talk about pretty much all week, probably even into Friday.
And but very interactive over this piece.
Right. So we appreciate you guys rocking with us, and we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Take care, be blessed, keep pushing, keep growing. And listen, know that Brothers of Legacy loves you, but God loves you more. Because at the end of the day, God is all that matters. All right. Take care, guys. See you tomorrow. I didn't want to catch that. Good morning. Welcome to another episode. Good morning.